Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving deep into the dramatic core of House of Cards Season 3, Episode 6. In this episode, titled Chapter 32, President Frank and First Lady Claire Underwood embark on a critical diplomatic mission to Russia. Their goal, secure a vital agreement with the notoriously shrewd President Petrov, and crucially, the release of a controversial American prisoner. The prisoner in question is Michael Corrigan, a well-known American activist serving time in Russia under their strict laws against propaganda of non-traditional sexual relationships. His situation has become a significant point of tension between the US and Russia. The Underwoods are in Moscow, aiming to tie Corrigan's freedom to broader geopolitical agreements, including sensitive discussions about military infrastructure and troop movements in Eastern Europe. Claire takes on the delicate task of meeting with Corrigan in prison. She presents him with a carefully worded document, a prepared apology to the Russian people, explaining that signing it is the agreed-upon condition for his immediate release. But Corrigan is unwavering. He steadfastly refuses to sign, viewing the apology as a betrayal of his principles and the LGBTQ+ community he represents. He believes compromising his integrity for a conditional release would render his past activism meaningless. Despite Claire's persistent pressure and her move to have a hidden microphone removed so they could speak more freely, Corrigan holds firm. While Claire is at the prison, Frank is engaged in complex and tense negotiations with President Petrov. Claire makes multiple appeals, trying to find a way through Corrigan's resolve. She highlights the potential negative consequences of his refusal, mentioning a mutual acquaintance, John, and the impact on other gay individuals in Russia seeking asylum. She questions his motivations and contrasts his rigid stance with the difficult compromises she feels she has made in her own life and career. Corrigan challenges her back, asking if she truly understands his position and what she herself would be willing to die for. The conversation reaches an impasse. Corrigan asks for time to think, but Claire knows time is slipping away. Exhausted, she lies down on a bench in the cell to rest. The political stakes are incredibly high. Frank needs Corrigan's signed statement to finalize the critical agreements with Russia. The pressure is mounting from both sides. Petrov using Corrigan as leverage and time running out for the activist. Tragedy strikes overnight. Claire awakens to a horrifying discovery. Michael Corrigan has died by suicide, hanging himself in the cell rather than yield to the pressure to sign the apology. A visibly distraught Claire is escorted away. Frank, ever the pragmatist, immediately shifts to damage control. He tells Claire they must control the narrative and announce that Corrigan was already scheduled for release that day, framing the suicide as a separate tragic event. At the joint press conference with President Petrov, Claire steps up to the podium. She is expected to deliver the carefully constructed lies, but the emotional toll of witnessing Corrigan's death and the profound statement he made leads to a breaking point. Defying Frank and the entire diplomatic strategy, Claire speaks her raw truth. She declares that Michael Corrigan committed suicide because he refused to lie. She reveals she was in the cell with him and witnessed his final moments, turning the tragedy into a direct condemnation of President Petrov and the Russian regime's oppressive laws. Her shocking honesty devastates the carefully planned negotiations. A stunned Frank quickly intervenes, ending the press conference abruptly and offering apologies to Petrov, blaming Claire's outburst on stress. The diplomatic mission is a catastrophic failure. The raw tension explodes on Air Force One during the flight back to the US. Frank is incandescent with rage, accusing Claire of unforgivable selfishness and ruining everything they worked for. He even suggests she is responsible for Corrigan's death for failing to convince him. Claire fiercely defends her actions, arguing that Corrigan's suicide was an act of immense courage and that his death should not be covered up or made meaningless. Their argument escalates into a vicious fight, exposing the deep cracks in their partnership and their fundamental disagreements about power, compromise, and integrity. And that's the intense, game-changing Episode 6 of House of Cards Season 3. Claire's decision polarizes viewers. Was it courageous or reckless? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this recap helpful, please give it a like and hit subscribe for more detailed episode summaries and movie analyses. Thanks for tuning in.